Tustin, Twitter.com. Right now, the Angels and White Sox. The White Sox, the visiting team here at the Big A. Last night, the Angels win the first game, and Terry Smith is about to make his introduction in the beginning of the game, which is my favorite part of Angels baseball when Terry Smith comes in. So let's give Terry Smith a big round of applause along with his partner, Marc Langston.
The voice of Angels baseball, Terry Smith and Marc Langston.
Here comes Terry Smith.
Angels baseball is on the air from Angel Stadium. The Angels get set to host the Chicago White Sox. Hi, everybody. This is Terry Smith along with Marc Langston and our producer-engineers Jorge Sevilla, Howard Drescher, and Mike Boyle. We welcome you to the Big A, where tonight the Angels take on the White Sox in the middle game of this three-game weekend. The Angels came away with the victory here in last night's opener. Got strong starting pitching from Hector Santiago.
And let's talk about that performance by Hector Santiago. Yeah, Terry, that's my favorite part of Angels baseball when you first come on the air. And Hector Santiago splendid last night. And today, Matt Shoemaker, the pitcher. So I like Mike Scioscia having Santiago 1 and Shoemaker 2 off the gate after the All-Star break. Let's see if Matt Shoemaker can get us a W right now. The Angels need 12 W's in a row to get back to 500. Baseball at 51 and 52, if that happens, that would have to win 13 games. But let's just talk about winning today. Another thing I wanted to talk about is Terry Smith was bringing up today in the Los Angeles Times, reporters in the roundtable at the beginning of the game, the on-deck circle, 20% less viewership in the All-Star game. And I want to bring that up, Terry, because yesterday Angels Talk only was pretty much one caller, and there was limited Angels Talk. It was one caller, and that would be it to the franchise. And Terry, one of the things that I wanted to say was how much I missed you while last week there was no baseball in the All-Star game. And I listened to the broadcasters in that game, in the All-Star game, and I think Terry Smith should be the All-Star game broadcaster next season, 2 seasons from now. I think Terry Smith and doing the Mike Trout games every day automatically would increase the viewership 20%. But another reason why I believe that there was less viewership was because it was in San Diego, and a lot of people brought their families from all over California to San Diego a few weeks after school and graduation, right after the 4th of July. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people were actually at the game versus watching the game. And another thing they were talking about was that it didn't mean anything, that game. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up, or a suggestion for that, is the All-Star game doesn't have any meaning. But if you wanted to increase the meaning of the All-Star game, perhaps make it a 3-game series, since it does have relevance in the World Series. Who gets home field advantage? That wasn't really fair, having who gets home field advantage, and the American League had to go to a National League park to win. But the thing I'd like to talk about is have a 3-game series where you have an All-Star game in the beginning of the season, the first game, like the last preseason game, and then mid-season, and then you would have the last game. Say there was a 1-1, then you would have the third game at the end of the season, maybe the last 2 weeks. So have a 3-game series, or you could wrap it up in 2 games. So those are the 2 things I wanted to talk about in my segment of James Cal Tustin, Twitter.com, Angels Baseball Report for today. Is, Terry, we really missed you during the week, and I thought personally, the Dan Shulman jokes in the radio booth during the All-Star game, I would have preferred to have Marc Langston do the 4th inning commercials with Captain Morgan and the Bird versus the broadcasters. They were still, I respect the broadcasters, but it would be really nice to have Terry Smith, the broadcaster, in the All-Star game. Right now, Marc Langston's going through the lineups for the Angels. Adam Eden yesterday with that hit to Mike Trout, making that spectacular catch. And that's one of the examples of Terry Smith doing the play-by-play and how exciting he is bringing the game to us, which was something they were talking about during the game, was how do you get people to be, if they're not at the game because it's a different experience, of course it's a different experience going to the game, but then you're listening to the game and getting glimpses of the game, watching the game. I like to listen to it on Angels Baseball, AM 830 KLAA, with Marc Langston, the color broadcaster, and Terry Smith, the play-by-play broadcaster for Angels Baseball. And right now, the Angels are opening up their second game homestand versus the Chicago White Sox. Right now, the Angels, the home team with Matt Shoemaker on the mound, after coming off last night's victory, the Angels at 38-51.
With a record of 4-9 and a 4.54 ERA, right-hander Matt Shoemaker.
Terry Smith and Marc Langston.
And the play-by-play. Here's my partner, Terry Smith. Why, thank you very much, Marc Langston. As we are getting
That's pretty
ready
funny
for
how Marc
Angels
Langston does that.
Saturday Night
And
Baseball
also,
here
we're going to
at
stand by for that fourth inning commercial for Captain Morgan's and the bird chirping, and how funny that segment of the game has become. And it's only funny when the Angels win everything pretty much. When the Angels are not winning, it hurts. But I noticed some good things about the lineup last night, and I also noticed some good things about the pitching staff, what we do have to work with. So we're going to leave it at that. James Tustin, Twitter.com. I'm wearing my Los Angeles Angels hat with the halo. And I really liked the uniforms yesterday, and I think we should bring back the blue from the Angels, from the LA Angels. I really like those colors. I grew up with the Angels during the 80s, so those were the Reggie Jackson, Brian Downing, and Bobby Grich uniforms. Rod Carew in the house, also in the All-Star game. James Tustin, Twitter.com. So they have the Angel Red Polo shirts. And Mark Gubaza, special shout out in the broadcasting booth for television, and Victor Rojas for Fox doing the play-by-play.